Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For the last few weeks, I've been getting ready and preparing myself for two surahs, one of them being one of the toughest surahs in my journey in studying the Quran, and actually something I put off for a long time. Surah Al-Ahzab earlier last year was a surah I put off for a long time, and the other surah that I just wanted to have extra time to deal with and think through was Surah Al-Hashr. And alhamdulillah, somehow it happens that every time I come to Australia, I deal with one of the most challenging surahs I can find. So last time among those surahs was Surah Al-Mumtahana, and this year, inshallah ta'ala, I'm very happy to announce that I'm coming back and we'll be covering one of the most profound surahs of the Quran, very complex also, Surah Al-Hashr. So I'll tell you a couple of quick things about it and why I think it's so exciting and also so challenging. You know, the surahs in the Quran are like this unit, everything binds together, and things that are bound together in Surah Al-Hashr at first glance don't feel like they bind together naturally, right? So Allah is talking about one of the Jewish tribes that was in an agreement with the Muslims of Medina, and then they violated that treaty and the consequences of violating that treaty. And that's been outlined. There's a complex relationship between the migrants, the migrant Muslims, the Muhajirun and the Ansar, and the financial distributions that they're supposed to get, and then the plane of the hypocrites within. So the social dynamics of Medina, the complicated social dynamics of Medina are being talked about, and what are we supposed to learn from all of that, because this is timeless guidance. And then at the end of it all, Allah is going to describe the Quran's greatness in a way that actually is not found anywhere else in the Quran. There are places in the Quran where Allah will describe the greatness of the Quran, each of them unique in their own way. But there's a parable about the greatness of the Quran here that isn't found anywhere else. There's also a statement about the dhikr of Allah, the remembrance of Allah. Allah will teach us a wisdom about that that isn't covered anywhere else in the Quran. And also Allah will talk about His names, His attributes, a description of Himself, and a cluster of names of Allah together at the end of the surah, the likes of which isn't found anywhere else, even in the Meccan Quran, which was so focused on Allah and Tawheed and Iman in Allah. It's not even there. And it's uniquely found here in this remarkable surah. So it's a collection of these. Each one of these are very rich, very dense, very deep subjects. And then they're all bound together also, which makes the surah a uniquely challenging experience. In fact, for the last few years, I've been doing Quran week, so 3 hours a night, 7 straight nights for one surah, right? And this is roughly the same size as all the other surahs that we do Quran week on. And we've done maybe 25 Quran weeks so far. But I realized this surah is not going to fit inside of a week. So it's actually a Quran intensive. It's going to be 10 straight nights that we're going to be covering this surah in Australia. And I'm very excited, alhamdulillah. Last minute, all the plans were made, everything was ready to go, and then we're just waiting on the visa approval, and alhamdulillah it came. So my family and I are getting ready to travel and are going to be covering this remarkable surah with just an absolutely beautiful community. You guys down under have always been one of my best audiences and one of my most engaged audiences, especially in deeper study of the Quran. So I'm hoping to repeat that tradition with you, inshallah ta'ala. So looking forward to seeing all of you. And for those of you that are not in Australia and are not going to be attending, I would especially ask for your du'as that Allah give myself and my research team and all of us, students and teachers, the ability, the tawfiq, and the guidance to do justice to this remarkable treasure inside of the Quran, Surah Al-Hashr. See you there, inshallah ta'ala, and hopefully those of you that are not going to be there will catch the recording on Bayyinah TV. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.